there's a difference between graffiti and street art and public art. I was raised in New York City in Soho. My parents have been avid supporters of all forms of art, whether it's dance or theater or music or the traditional arts. And so I've been surrounded by art my whole life. One of our first kind of big art installations was the Houston and Bowery Wall, which is an iconic public art wall in New York City. And then in 2009, my dad came up with a really brilliant idea, which was the Wynwood Walls. And it was the backs of all of our buildings. It was a gravel parking lot, and we invited the best street artists in the world to come paint there. And that kind of became the epicenter of the neighborhood. We kind of marked it, my dad marked it as the center for the creative class. That's what the neighborhood, that's how we've built kind of the evolution of this neighborhood over the last 20 years. And, I've had the privilege of curating the Wynwood Walls for the last 12 years. And I've just immersed myself into the street art world and exploring kind of the best all over the world, and discovering amazing artists and incredible talents and bringing them to Wynwood. And it really has started, it really started an art movement. It gave an enormous amount of respect and celebration to an art form that had not really been appreciated or respected. And so I think that I would say that we've put our mark on the street art world in a really beautiful, respectful, and celebratory way. And so this book it's being published with Assouline, which is one of the great art book publishers in the world. It's called Street Art Icons, and it kind of it follows the path of 15 years of the Wynwood Walls, and really the trajectory of art and that movement that started in New York City in the 1970s, but it went to a whole nother level in what I believe in Miami and Wynwood, in the last 15 years. So it's something that our family is really passionate about. We collect street art. We have a pretty spectacular, extensive collection. And the beautiful thing about what we do is that we get to know these artists on a very personal level. So the piece behind me is by an artist named Dan Kitchener, who happens to be an outstanding artist, but also happens to be an outstanding human being. So that's really one of the wonderful things about what we do.